I want to thank all of those who are gathered right now in this big electronic circle, who are putting our hands and our hearts together no matter what the weather. Bob said there might be a rainstorm coming through, but that's cool because we is readers on the storm, readers in the storm. Right? You heard that one before, and I'm going to hit you with some more. This is a little thing called Otto Frank, inspired by the father of the great writer, the great diarist, Anne Frank. Goes a little bit something like this. I'll do a little taste of it. Ready to die. The executioners are set. Their bullets are loaded, can feel the lead penetrating to the bone, the core, shattering, going deep, deep, shattering, set up for annihilation. Yet alive still, oh yeah, can hear the cello's sad refrain, an ice cream perhaps, a walk in the park. Swimming the Red Sea, the Dead Sea too. Whew, yeah. Scott Joplin's ragtime scraping the sky. And then the long journey home. Catching the sun on the Black Sea, munching blackberries to appease the gut, the chicken, and the chocolate, and the Cuba that never was. The Macy's Day Parade, floating above the death pits, stacks of shoes with nowhere left to go. Like my passbook stamped and stamped and stamped again and again and again, like the letters stamped up in my study, inveterate correspondent with a lost generation that has found in me a surrogate father. Would trade those 1 million pen pals for just 2. Most recently seen in a sisterly embrace, twisted in the snow, or so it was reported by a reliable witness. But once it was good cheer, and the sun shone daily on the mountaintop as we let gravity do its work. Ah, Switzerland! But now it's up a narrow staircase through a labyrinth of books, the pages damp and unread, into an empty room, dark. Once it was full of light, no, not from Edison's invention or from the candles that we coveted and conserved, but rather filled with promise and hope. Old-fashioned words and sentiments, dormant but persistent, like that great volcanic Mount Stromboli. I can see its smoky crown from right here on deck, a Mediterranean glow, illuminating the shadow on my left arm, B9175, B91. No, someone else has that number. Recycled. Like the barbed wire which surely will straddle a new century. I fought in the war to end all wars. An iron cross, my reward. But now, bravery eludes me, can think only of food. It is both ally and enemy, and once it was a living. Manufacturing a way to transform the bitter into the sweet in 10 minutes or less. Yes, jams, jellies, marmalade. Opecta Incorporated, the family business below us, above us. A sky in which I no longer believe. There is only music. The cello's soft refrain. A bit of bread passed to the living from the dead. The harpsichord and the gay tambourine. But now the marching bands are marching on funeral pyres, and the national anthems are benedictions, and the drum and fife corps on cobblestone no more, but rather the last will and testament of the rabble. But a little Bach goes a long way. And on the wireless some nights we hear Miss Billie Holiday. She sustains us. Just a bit of blues in the night. Next up, Dael Orlandersmith.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
And now it is Dael Orlandersmith.
3 o'clock. I can't tell you what day. Lost track of days. It could be any day of the week. All I know it is today. It is now. And 3 o'clock, whatever day it is, and we're told that we have to be in before 6 p.m. As if death can't and won't come before or after 6. And I'm walking. I've been doing this for 8-9 weeks now, walking. I walk now not the way I've always walked. The walk was ordinary, natural, like walking to get somewhere. It is now, mind walk, think. Yesterday, year, people come, and I walk and think about them. The yesterday, year people. The people I walked to meet, and how much time did it take to meet them, and was the walk meeting worth it? Or did I block them? The people, the meeting out? Did I block out or not take in their walk, their moves, and what it meant to them, the walk? Did I bother to take in how they walked, moved? Were their heads erect or dropped? Were their eyes dulled or anxious? Was their gait steady or staggered? And how much time did it take to get there to meet them? How much time would have it taken for me to give them that moment in their walk? So I shout out now, of course, there's no answer. No longer here. The time, the walk, the person. It's all now a fade. 3:30, I'm walking toward Essex Street. I see a child who reminds me of another child I saw on 3rd Street 10 years before. And the child on 3rd Street and I were walking in opposite directions. The child and I passed each other and smiled. We walked past each other, turned around at the same time and smiled. And in that moment, I did wish that child was mine. 3:40 p.m. A ravaged woman in need of a fix, but looks in my eyes and sees that I'm seeing, listening to different ghosts. She sees through me the ghost beyond her sweat and shakes. And the way she took me in, I was fully in her eyes. And for that moment, she was in mine. And despite her being in this state, she did not ask me to fill her vein. 4:45, I continue, mind walking. Seeing streets I've rarely walked or streets I've never walked before and should have, especially because I'm a native New Yorker. These streets like Attorney Street, like for some strange name, the Attorney Street. Can't define why this name sticks within my mind's eye, Attorney Street, or now as I take the time is now mine, attorney, someone who's supposed to speak to you, for you. That person, that attorney stands for those who cannot speak for themselves. The person speaks to and for those rendered speechless. That person who reaches to those, the unseen, worse than the unseen, invisible. I now walk Attorney Street. I now see it. Because a wonderful, talented man I recently saw took in on a small, full stage, lives there. And he danced while he also walked and talked on that small, full stage. This man, half Oscar Wilde, half Boo Radley, with a melodious voice like Vincent Price, who without making big gestures speaks for the unseen, invisible, and speechless. And he's in the world and he hides from the world so he can do his work to bring it to the world. And now I see Attorney Street as I never had. 4:55. I walked to Suffolk Street, seeing young brown black girls on Suffolk Street debate whether Selena Gomez, Nicki Minaj, and Janelle Monáe can really dance. And out of the three, who is the most talented? Then I watch them break into dance, these brown, black girl, child bodies moving in concert with new curves that will blossom into full hips. And further still, I watch, wondering if I were their age, would we have been friends? I keep walking, 5 o'clock. I walk to Stanton and Elizabeth, the candy store. The candy store now closed, where all children, the children of all ages, gathered to look, buy, see, remember, and we did. We looked, we bought, we saw. Mary Jane's, blow pops, candy dots on white paper, red licorice, starburst, squirrel nut zippers, Sunny Boy pumpkin seeds, flavored sugar and straws, holiday potato chips, now and later candy. Grape was my favorite. And Cousin Brucey on WCBS AM cranked out bubblegum, pop, rock with its promises of forever love, with drugstore Romeos and girls with bouffant hair wearing drugstore lipstick. Some of the music is before our time, some not. But still, all of us, we the kids of all ages, listened, ate our treats, and sometimes we danced. 5:07 p.m. I walk on. A few seconds into the walk, I can see other people reaching back to their memories. I can see their memories as well as mine. And they want hope for future. 5:15 Orchard Street, a street I did actually walk. And as a young girl, watching gorgeous street men talk with their bodies and voices, and as they yelled and cried and danced and sang, trying to make their way around that cramped block, I watched them. I watched them anxiously. I was 15. 5:18, walking toward Orchard and Ludlow. Living in dead ghosts come. Best friends, no longer best friends. They're still here. Voices, hints from my mother, no longer here, but right now, here. Eyes bright, voice clear, lucid, but then later, the eyes will be blurred and the voice will be heavy-tongued from scotch. I stand on Orchard Street for a while. My mother keeps sending hints. 5:40, I walk to Stanton and Norfolk Street. Lies I've told, the truth in those lies, and the bitter falsehood of lies. Things earned, things stolen, which comes down to truth and lies. 5:50, Pitt Street, Avenue C. Stages I played on, and the love, hope, connection, flowers from people I saw in that moment and who I may or may not remember, but took the time to remember me. 5:53, cut across Pitt Street to First Street and Avenue C. This soft rumble mind walk. I think of the room of writers, the rooms of writers I was in, privileged to be in. Those brave writer warriors digging, summoning a perfect line, word to describe a gorgeous bruised life. And now I see how I often didn't take the time to see, listen to them. I could only hear my own words, my own lines, my own sentences. could only take in here my own language. 6 o'clock home, house or dungeon, I wonder. It took disease, dis-ease for me to see, take in. And I want to meet myself and hate to meet myself and the people I've embraced and the people I've rebuffed. 6 o'clock, that's the hour. Witching hits me with all this witching, bitching hour of an hour hits me right now. There are things I need to look at, things rip apart, I say, more ugly, harsh things to say, and I will say them. 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock or whatever clock that's ticking, living or dead ghosts will not silence me. It will come from head, voice to my hands, to my pen and paper. And no, you will not put your knee on my throat. Won't let you put your knee on my throat. I won't let you take me. You will not take me. You can't take me. I'm here. I'm meant to be here. And I've got work to do.
Oh.
Darling.
Beautiful, amazing piece. Thank you so much. Here in the Zoom rooms, when you can reach out and touch like that with language like that, purpose, language purpose. Thank you. Well, we're coming to the end of this first round. As I say, this is where you get to know us, audience. And next time we'll be back to say goodbye with our encores. Here he is, direct from his living room studio in Los Angeles. Please welcome John Densmore and the Talking Drums.
Talking drums. First of all, I want to thank Dael for assembling this group of wonderful, beautiful artists around this online campfire. Oops, sorry. Okay, now I'm going to show you my drum because you won't see it while I'm playing because it's not a 3-camera shoot here. It's my little laptop. And there you have it. Okay. This first poem I'm going to do is by Etheridge Knight, African-American poet, who I was lucky to see read. And let's see, I think Etheridge won the National Book Award. And I know his mentor was Gwendolyn Brooks, Pulitzer poet, not unlike Dael Orlandersmith, Pulitzer writer nominee. Yeah. So on the back of Etheridge's first book of poetry, it said, he wrote, Korea, let's see, I died in Korea and narcotics resurrected me. And in 1960, I died in prison and poetry resurrected me. So due to circumstance, Etheridge had some drug problems and was in and out of prison. Now, I bring this up to illuminate one line in this poem I'm going to read, not to be what Jon Stewart would call a butt person. George Floyd's death was terrible, but he had a criminal record. Well, he did his time. And of course, he came up in a culture that's been oppressed for 400 years. So can we have some slack? Okay. I'm off the soapbox and I'm going to do the poem. I dedicate this to Dael. It's called Belly Song. And I must admit that the sea in you has sung to the sea in me. And I Must admit that the sea in me has fallen in love with the sea in you, because you have made something out of the sea that nearly swallowed you. And this poem I give to you. This poem is a song and a feather of feeling. And I sing this song to you from the bottom of the sea in my belly. This poem is a gravestone and a death chant and a prayer for the dead. A young Jackie Robinson, a moving black warrior who walked among us with wide stride, heavy heels, moving through the blood and mud and shit of Vietnam, moving through the blood and mud and dope of America for Jackie, who was a feather of feeling, now dead and gone in this month of love. And this poem's for me and the days that lay in the back of my mind when the sea rose up to swallow me. And the streets I walked were lonely streets, stone cold streets. And this poem's for me in the nights when I wrapped my feelings in a sheet of ice and stared at the stars through iron bars and cried in the middle of my eyes. And this poem's for me and my woman and the yesterdays when she opened to me like a flower and I fell on her like a stone. She opened like a flower and I fell on her like a stone. And now, in my 40th year, and now in my 75th year, I have come here to this house of feelings, to this singing sea, and I must admit that the sea in me has fallen in love with the sea in you. And I must admit that the sea in me has fallen in love with the sea in you. Because the sea that now sings in you is the same sea that nearly swallowed you, and me too. All right.
That's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Thank you, John.
You bet.
Mr. John Densmore, I live and breathe. That was just a swell kick out of the Zoom room.
Yeah.
Dael Orlandersmith.
You know, I've walked this walk before, where razor-cut glasses can slice the skin of the toughest whore. I've heard this rap before, like when you get your first kiss is gonna bring music. The music is gonna swell and get bigger and bigger, like in Italian movies. I've witnessed this scene before, like when somebody's mother chain smokes while they drink, and they talk about when they were young, because when they were young, men dug them. They take a final pull on the drink, the smoke comes out their nostrils. They end the whole rap by saying, "My God, ain't life a bitch?" I dreamt this somewhere before. I touched the shoes of Mary Magdalene on Avenue D. Blood was flowing from her feet. Spanish dancers were hanging tough outside of shiny aluminum storefronts. Gutted tenements echo another dark, black, nigger future. Phantasmagoria, they call it. Somebody's popping chewing gum. Maybe it's the click of a hooker's shoes, pacing the pavement 3 o'clock in the morning. Lovers are tongue kissing in the doorway, and the souls of young boys and young girls are trapped underneath the hoods of stolen hoods. Or maybe it's love doing a rumble. Or maybe it's Neptune putting on black velvet gloves. and simply dancing again.
Dael Orlandersmith. Roger Guenveur Smith, are you over there, buddy?
I can't breathe. I have my ID right here. My name is Elijah McLean. That's my house. I was just going home. I'm an introvert. I'm just different. That's all. I'm so sorry. I do not have a gun. I don't do that stuff. I don't do any fighting. Why are you attacking me? I don't even kill flies. I don't eat meat, but I don't judge people. I don't judge people if they do eat meat. Forgive me. All I want to do is try to get better. I will do it. I will do anything. Sacrifice my identity. I'll do it. You all are phenomenal. You are beautiful. And I love you. Try to forgive me. I'm a mood Gemini. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Ow. That really hurt. You are all very strong. Teamwork makes the dream work. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to do that. I can't breathe correctly. I can't breathe correctly. I'm an introvert. I'm different.
Oh, Roger. What you evoke and provoke. So clear. Thank you.